All right. Confirm if you can see the whiteboard.
Yes.
Lovely. That's what I like. Okay. So let's just go straight into it and talk about resets. I believe all of you know what resets are for. And resets are as good as peak formations. So there's nothing different about them. So resets are peak formations. So the reason why we get resets in the market is because they complete, they restart. They restart the previous trends. They restart the previous trends. Sometimes they build higher time frame peaks. All right. So we're gonna talk about all these 3 points. So we said resets are peak formations. What do we mean by that? We mean when a pair forms a peak and then moves into level 1, moves into level 2, and then moves into level 3. After this cycle has been completed, if we want the cycle to continue going up, we expect the market to form a reset, usually at the same level as the previous level or a little bit lower, which we always term it 1.5 ADR, ideally, and at 200 EMA. So probably at 200 EMA will be moving somewhere there. So at 200 EMA, and then continue the trend, another 3 more levels. So that's what you call a reset. So it's resetting peaks. Again, we say they restart the previous trends, or they restart a new trend. It's the same thing. So they either restart a previous trend or they are restarting a new trend. All we're trying to say is you've got a completed trend. So because you still want to continue that long-term trend, so they restart a new trend. All right, so that's the purpose of resets. They also build higher time frame peaks. What do we mean by that? We mean the market has been moving until it got to a peak, and then it comes down, it forms a reset, and then after that it goes back up, it forms a new peak, and then it continues going down. That is why we sometimes term them unconfirmed resets. The reason why they are unconfirmed is because they did not close any level higher than the peak formation. All right. It doesn't mean that a candle should close above. No, just any level has not been closed higher than a peak formation. So they literally came back within the range. But this remains your reset. All right. Now that's being a reset. You're going to find a lot of these structures. The reason why these structures come up in the market is because they want to facilitate a setup like this one. So they're trying to facilitate a setup like this one. Remember, what I've said before about this is that the market, when it forms an M there, it becomes a V on these sides. All right. So in W there becomes a V, and an M there becomes a V as well. Now, let me wrap all this. Now, then we've got different types of resets again. So it's not only the fact that resets are going to be sitting at 200 EMA. I think I've said that a long time ago, several times. All right. So you've got the market going up and it goes to level 3. You've got that 200 EMA reset and the continuation. You also have got the market going up and you've got that 50 EMA reset and the market continues up. All right. Sometimes you also have got a 200 AMA, sorry, a 200 reset, but it's closer, all right? So the gap in between, all right, let me mark it for you. The gap in between that and that possibly won't be 1.5 ADR because your 200 is probably crossing there, all right? This one, it is the 50 EMA that's crossing here. It's the 50 EMA, okay? And this one is still the 200, but it's not 1.5 ADR. This one is actually 1.5 ADR, so it is the 200 that is crossing here. So we also have got those 50 MR resets. The same way London patterns are to say type 1, type 3, and type 2. It's the same thing, all right? It's the same thing. A reset will still remain a what? A reset. Now, that being said, then we come to levels now, because we want to try and understand how these resets are going to go. Okay, so starters, if you have a 1 hour cycle, right? Push 1, push 2, push 3. What do we say? We always say that we want to see the market pull back to the 200 EMA or the 50 EMA, whichever it is, and continue the cycle, right? So what you have here, the push, is a 1 hour level, right? You have a 1 hour level or 2 M15 pushes, but they will still look like a 1 hour level. I don't know if this is going to make sense, but I'll explain to you. All right. Now, you have, this is H1, all right? You have H4 going up, peak formation, reset. This is the blueprint, what we expect when a reset is going to go to the 200 EMA, all right? But it's not going to be the same for everything, but I'll explain that later. This is what you'll be expecting. So this is H4, okay? So between here and here, because you've got 3 levels of H4. Remember, I always say you are resetting D1, right? So you need 1 level of H4. You need what? 1 level on H4, which is 3 levels on H1, or you at least need 2 levels of H1, whatever comes at that particular time. Remember, in between here, you've got 3 levels of H1. Now, this is going to be mathematics. I'm hoping you guys are going to get it. And you still have a reset here. What reset? This type of a reset is still there. All right? And then you go up. You still have another reset here. This type of a reset. All right? But when you come to this point where 4 hour has done 3 levels and 4 hour wants to reset, you want to see 4 hour push down a level. So that means you want to see 3 H1 pushes to the downside, or at least 2 H1 pushes before the market reset. But like I said, this is the blueprint, is what we expect. But it's not like this is going to happen every single time, all right? Now, if we are resetting D1, okay, So we've just seen the market has just done D1. What you want to see is a whole D1 level from here to there. You want to see a D1 level, all right? So a D1 level will mean 3 4-hour levels. That then will mean you want to see 9, is it 9? Yeah, 9 H1 levels, okay? So it means 3 of these cycles are going to be squeezed into a whole D1 cycle here for you to say, yes, I have gone to a reset on D1. So you can actually trade that pullback to the reset because it's going to last for a long time, all right? Which is why it's good to look at higher time frames because you can get high probability setups. When you're on H4, you only expect to see 3 levels to the downside, 1 level reversal. That's what you mean. You want to see 1 level reversal to the 200 EMA, all right? Now, after having said this, there are cases whereby you have a 4-hour. These cases are going to be different. They're not going to be the same all the time. You've got a 4-hour cycling, all right, which is 9 H1 levels. And the way it resets, it just gives you probably 1 big H1 level or 2 levels, all right? And then it sits there. It just sits there for a while before it can continue going up. You're going to see this a lot. And when you turn to D1, you realize, oh, even D1 had already finished what? 3 levels, all right? And they took advantage of that push to the 200 EMA on H1, and they prolonged the move so that when they start moving, when you go to D1, you can actually see a proper structure, but the structure would have taken ages for it to form. So which is why we say when a market is ranging, it means higher time frames are up to something. All right. I hope this makes sense. So we're going to come to the charts again to try and see it. But again, remember what I always say, every single time price brings a whole new perspective. Sometimes you might think this is a level, and then when you realize, you see, oh, the market has just given you another level and it's now at a peak formation. Then you realize, but this looks more like a consolidation. So you need to constantly check your levels every single day when the market moves so that you know you are actually in the right direction. All right. Now, after having said that, I wanted to say something. All right. Yeah, I've remembered what I wanted to say. I wanted to say, in as much as you have a cycle going down, and you now want to reset it, right? In some cases, you're going to have the 200 EMA moving here, all right? And your reset is right there. It does not mean that every time a reset has to sit on the 200 EMA, all right? Sometimes it might extend further. You might find maybe here there's actually 3 levels, depending on what time frame you're in. Maybe this is H4. You might find maybe there's 3 H1 levels here. And you go down to your reset before you go the intended direction. So not all the time are they going to sit on the 200 EMA. All right. So you need to understand that and be a bit smart to see that, okay, I don't think that looks like the first leg, or that looks like a reset. And it doesn't mean when they pass the 200 EMA now the market is a sell, it's not going to come your way. As long as higher time frames are still showing you that the market is gonna sell, then it means your reset will definitely come, but it won't be sitting pretty on the 200 EMA because it's not supposed to all the time. All right. For those who don't know time frame blending, maybe sometimes you might need to watch that, because remember on one, if this is the 200 EMA, it means on H 4 is the 50 EMA, all right, and then on D1 is the 13 EMA. That means on M15 is the 800 EMA. So sometimes you never know. Maybe it's actually sitting where at an 800 EMA on another time frame. Maybe in this case, the M15 is actually sitting on an 800 EMA, but you're expecting it to sit on the 200 of the H1. This is just an example, right? But that's the point I wanted to put across, that it's not going to sit pretty on the 200 every time. And then again, because you are expecting a reset, I've seen most of you when you mark your charts, well, it's not bad. Get this right. It's not bad. But when you mark your charts and then you say, I am expecting to see a reset, right? It is not always the case that they are gonna pass through the 200 EMA. So maybe your 200 EMA is moving there and your 50 EMA is moving there. So it's not always the case that they will pass through your 200 EMA. So don't say, but I expected the market to go to the 200 and then they did not. Yes, that is the kind of trade you would like to take, right? And if that does not happen, then it means you are not taking that trade. However, if, for instance, they sell here, like what USD pairs did the previous week and this week, and then they give you a safety trade here, all right? You should be able to take the safety trade from this point going down, because already you have seen what looks potentially like a safety trade, and with a good and nice setup on the 200 EMA after the 1350 cross on H1. All right. And then what else? Lastly, in terms of peak formations, right? After forming a W, say on H1, the market will go to the 50 EMA and sit there and then come back and do this. Now, I prefer trading these kind of peak formations because as long as they are sitting on the 50 EMA, they give me some kind of a confidence that this is a nice multi-days W, rather than those Ws that just form like this and then they start going up and the 50 EMA is sitting over there. I don't like this kind, even though I do sometimes trade them, but I prefer this one that does this. Now, with this in mind, always know that you're gonna see this type of peak formation even on higher time frames. Now, imagine seeing this on D1, right? Imagine seeing it on D1. What does it mean? It simply means the market will throw you maybe say 3 levels going to the downside here because you're coming from the cycle. It will give you maybe one level on H1 or another level on H1. It will give you 2 levels here. It will give you one level, 2 levels, one level before you get your 3 levels going up. So imagine you're trying to catch this pair or whatever direction, or you're trying to catch it from, or you're trying to trade it going to the upside, but all of a sudden it starts to throw you 1 1 2 2 and all that, and it then reverses back down to test the low. So this sometimes does happen, and which is the reason why I always say let peak formations form and complete before you are ready to take a trade. So in this case, we are happy to take a trade from the second leg here. And then we are happy to take a trade on the second, on the first level. However, here on the first level, sometimes they become short because they're just going to the 50 EMA and that's it. So it's not always advisable, all right? And then after that, this explains why you've got 2 levels on in some occasions, right? Where you're expecting a buy or a sell or whatever, or you're counting your levels, and then all of a sudden you see the market moved to 1, it moved to 2, and then it reversed, and all of a sudden it did whatever it did, or it went up or down or whatever. But you get 2 levels. The reason why you get 2 levels, it's because it's a ranging market, and it's also because you are creating a higher time frame peak formation. Always know that. So You get two levels. Listen to this statement. You get two levels if you are going towards a reset, right? Or you get two levels because you are forming a higher time frame peak. So here and here, it's gonna be two levels at most. Not all the time, please, but you're gonna see two levels most of the time, or maybe you're even forming a triple top. So imagine you're gonna get as many two levels as you can over here. Or you are going towards a reset point. You want to reset on the 200 or wherever, and then you have only one and two levels. That's what it means. This is why we call it a 1.5 ADR, all right? Because you only have two levels. Now, when you are counting your levels and say, okay, I've seen a peak formation, level 3, level 1, level 2, and then you come to level 3, right? Do not count these levels going to the upside. They are going towards a reset. Yes, if you want, you can put in your higher highs and higher lows, or you can count your levels just for clarity's sake. But there is no reason for you to be really worried about this because it is a pullback. It's going against the trend. Let's say you're seeing this from D1. Yes, count levels here because you might be able to trade this whole cycle going to the upside. But if you're seeing this from H1, there is no reason for you to put boxes here to say, yeah, I've seen two levels going that direction. It's good to know, it's good to see and say, oh yeah, I've got two levels, or I've got three, or I've got one, whatever it is. But don't put boxes. Your boxes are only gonna be on the true trend, all right? Your boxes are only on the true trend. And then after that, your new boxes are gonna start as soon as you restart this cycle. All right. So you want to see your resets. The best place to go is higher timeframes. Higher timeframes is what's going to show you about resets, both where they will form and also if they will form. That is where you're going to see your resets appear. All right. So after having said this, I'm pretty sure everyone is now across resets. So we're going to count some levels. And as I promised you guys, you're the ones who are going to be counting levels for me, whatever pair of your choice you decide. And then from there, we want to see if we can then get to resets and also understand the behavior of how these resets appeared. All right, so I'm going to close the whiteboard now and hoping everyone should be able to see the charts.
Yeah, I can see the chart.
That's very good. All right. So if you guys can see the chart, now my question is, who wants to start on counting levels?
I'll go, coach.
All right.
Um,
What pair do you want?
go to AJ, Audi, JPY, or AUDJ.
AJPY. All right. Let me give you this template. Okay. Where do you want to start?
Start from, go to H4.
H4. All right.
Mm, I already had my template, actually. Okay, yeah, that's fine. H4 is fine. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3. Okay. So right here, um, so right here we have the peak, and then um, going up 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. It was a okay. Go to H1 for me. I'll do it from H1. That's better. Okay, and you go over to the left. all the way to the peak at the bottom. Okay, so right there. So we have the H4 peak right here. I counted 1, 2, 3. Gave a H4 Wharf Earth level, and then 1, 2, and then 3. That was the second H4 level. Go over for me.
Okay, just a second.
I think. Did I count that? Wait, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm.
And then counted 1. Okay, here you go. I counted right here. The third level is this one right here, right there, and right there. That's 3 levels. So that's the third 4-hour level. Okay. And we had the third 4-hour level, so it's going to the this one reset from the 50. This one it reset from the 200 on the 1 hour, but the 50 on the 4 hour. It did a reset, and that one is marked right here. It's marked right here. And then we have 1, 2, 3. Come back and it's resetting now to go up.
All right. Is there anyone with a different opinion? Anyone who says, no, that's not true. I think it's gonna be a sell or whatever. You're free to say your opinions. All right. Now, this is how I do it. Okay. So, all right, starting from the monthly time frame, all we can see is this is a buy. Starting from this point right here. I'm not gonna mark any levels because we're gonna be here forever. All right. Going to the W1 time frame, I'm also seeing potentially what looks like 3 levels. I assume those are 3 levels. I assume this is level 1. I assume this is level 2. And I assume this is level 3. So what could be happening? My assumption is that we probably either could be giving a second leg. Maybe. Having that as well, you can even start counting your levels from weekly time frame, but we can't do that now because we're gonna be here forever, right? Now,
I actually didn't. I actually did see that also, coach. And if you look at the weekly time frame, the TDI actually showed that it should be reset doing the sale, coming to a peak sale. So I did see that. So you would taking the buy, you would take it to that top or look for
yeah.
it to hit that.
So what's important is to understand that they might give you a second leg and go down, or they might give you a second leg, come here, form a reset, and continue going up, right? That's one thing that you should have in mind. But all this will be determined by the monthly time frame when you go to the monthly time frame. But as of now, we know we are going back up for a second leg. Now, if we move to the D1 time frame, this is where we would then start counting from, right? We can call this probably our level 1, assuming this is our level 1. This and that are the same point, so there's nothing really different from them. So it means our level 2 should be from here to there, right? So that means our level 2 should be probably up to there. And then lastly, our level 3 will be up to here. Now, if we go to H4 and count levels inside this box, we should be able to find 3 levels of H4. All right, we should be able to find 3 levels of H4. Just counting blindly, I would love to think this is my first level, or I can put it here, and this is probably my second level, and lastly, this is my third level. So we are seeing 3 levels. So I'm not worried about the other 2 boxes that I put over there, but I'm worried about the last box because it should align, right? So that means this cycle is indeed complete. If you want, you can sit down and start counting all through from here to make sure that you've got 3 4-hour levels inside these boxes, and then you've got 9 H1 levels. All right, you can actually do that and count all through. And this information you have to keep, because you don't want to keep analyzing the same pair over and over again by counting levels. So this information you should be able to keep and say, all right, between 2023 and 2024 June, there are 3 D1 levels. So that means that's a complete W1 level. So if you keep that information, it helps you then to be only worried about this part, all right? And not what happened here. At least you know the bias. So what you're worried about is just that part only. Now, having said that, if you want, you can also count this whole drop. But remember what I said, it's a move to the reset, right? You can sell this. It's good because it's on the daily time frame, right? You can sell it. But when I'm counting my levels, I'll start counting from here. Okay? I'll start counting from here. Now, remember what I said. Every time when D1 completes 3 levels, what happens? When D1 completes 3 levels, you get a full D1 cycle. Remember, we said today we are talking about resets. So we get a full D1 cycle going to the downside, all right? But this is not going to happen every single time, but that is what you expect. Now, after these 3 levels were completed, we are sure that this was a peak formation. If we count our levels here, I can guarantee you're probably going to find 3 levels of H4 to show you that we were actually going for a reset. All right. So you know what to expect when you're waiting for a reset, and especially higher time frame reset. They are not going to sit on the 200 EMA in a pretty way like what this one did right here, because this one is not a D1 reset. It is just resetting, I think, H4. But these here, I'm pretty sure they might be resetting D1, which is why you have them. Remember, we said we've completed 3 levels, and now we're going for a reset. Right. Now, so this part right here, you can actually trade it as well. And this part right here, you can trade it too, because we are on a higher time frame. But then again, remember what I said, you'll find this being one D1 level. In here, there's probably one H4 level or 1.5 or 2. All right, there's probably 2 as well here. And then you've got a full cycle going that way. If we move to the 4-hour time frame, all right, you can actually see from this point right here that you've got a 1, a 2, and a 3. So you've got the market moving, but this being a 1 and 2 and a 3, I am pretty sure from smaller time frames, which is the H1, it's not really a D1 level. It's just H4 levels, yes. So you can see right there, you've got level 1, you've got level 2, and then you've got level 3. You've got a reset there, and then you just have 1 going all through, and then you have 2, and then you have 3. So you only have 2 4-hour levels, right? That's all you have, just 2 4-hour levels. Like I was saying, in between the V's of that W, it's only 2 4-hour levels. It's not even a D1 cycle because they can't put a D1 cycle after putting a D1 cycle on the other side. The moment they put a D1 cycle on the inner V, then that means we're resetting a monthly time frame. All right. Now, if you come here, you see again that going to the downside, it's only a 1, a 2 consolidation, and a 3 peak gone up, respects the law of the peak, stop Hunt's law, and quickly come back up and give you the neckline and come back down and then go with the cycle. So that becomes your level 3 peak formation. So you can see there's only one H4 cycle here. But all this, I remember when we traded USD JPY, when I was, after I'd done a live video of counting levels on USD JPY, we traded this sell all the way down. And all this was just a second leg. And after we've gotten here, I remember saying these pairs have tested the low of the year and they're gonna buy for the rest of the month or the year or whatever, right? Depending on whatever comes first. But I would love to think for the rest of the year because we are now in November, so there's no way they will sell all the way back down and break this low and continue going down. All right. But you can see how we traded another leg that was being formed. But on the smaller time frames, all we could see at that time was the market going to the downside. But we did not realize that it was actually the second leg. So had we probably maybe counted earlier the weekly cycles and the daily cycles, we could have seen that, okay, what we are getting ourselves into now is a second leg of a reset, and then you can hold. Even until now, you could have been holding. Now, then after that has been said, this is where his levels now come in when he was marking his 4-hour levels. So now you see how we've done it. You know where the pair is going now, and you already have seen your levels all the way down to the second leg of the reset, and you have seen how the reset has come up. So now what you want to see is the market then buying to the upside. That's what you want to see the market do. You want to see the market buy to the upside. All right. Now, for it to be easier for you, like I always say, you want to count your levels. You want to make things easier for yourself, right? Just come here and say 1 week of rise. Okay. another week of rise. And then just say this week of rise was more or less equivalent to the previous one. So this is all a consolidation until where we are. And then just say, I'm probably waiting for another week of rise. All right? That's the easiest way you can actually count levels for yourself and say, I'm actually waiting for another week of rise. And then after saying that, then you switch down to the 1 hour time frame. What did I say 1 hour time frames are for? They are for correcting our boxes, right? Then you can start counting the way he counted and correct your boxes, all right? Now, the cycle that he counted, this one right here, is more or less with the same or equal to the cycle that just finished over the side. Do you realize that? So he counted 1 and he counted 2. So it's like this. You've got level 1 and then you've got level 2. All right, I'll give you a chance. And then after that, you went down to a reset and you came back to what we assume could be level 3, but the market then started to consolidate at this point, right? So ideally, personally, I would love to see a 4-hour level there. Or number 2, this one right here, all right? This one could be my level 3, all right? Because it is fairly higher than that one. Okay, you are dealing with what you can see at the moment as far as price is concerned. So you are saying, I've seen 1, I've seen 2, and that could be my 3. All right, it could be my 3. And after that, then it means you have finished your D1 cycle. All right, but now, even if you have finished your D1 cycle, what you then want to see is the second leg, because here you only have got a first leg. Let's see what the TDI has to say. All right. In this case, we do have a shark fin over here. That happened, I don't know what day that is. That's probably midweek. So you did have a shark fin that happened on this day, and even on H1, same area as well. A shark fin did happen. So you could have taken this sell after those 3-level rise. You could have taken the sell or the next day and move with it towards the reset, right? The sell and move with it towards the reset. All right, let me try and make this line bold so you guys can see it. So this is where my shark fin is, okay? This is where my shark fin is. All right. Okay, so you can see where my shark fin is, and even on the 4-hour as well. This is where my shark fin is to confirm the peak formation. So all you needed to do, in this case, I know it was going to be difficult because you would be expecting the market to give you a second leg around the areas of the first leg. But unfortunately, the market did not do that. It just did this and that, all right? And then it gave you one level and went to the 200 EMA. But ideally, as soon as JPY starts moving with or OTPs start moving, whichever would have strength at that particular point, we want to see the market then go up to there. So that's going to be a weak open move. So you want to see the market go all the way up there. Then we want to see a structure there before we can go down. And going down does not mean we are going down forever, all right? Remember, we still need to know what higher time frames are doing. So remember, we want a weekly second leg. So most probably we might still come back here and reset, because we're resetting a bigger time frame. So we're going to spend a long time in this area like we have done already. We're going to spend a long time in this area. So that means it's going to be a little bit hard to catch this one, because it will stay there a little longer before it is ready to move. Now, anything particular that we can see from higher time frames, any pattern? From the way it looks right here, there's really nothing. It's just a W, and then the market consolidated for the whole of October. Look at that. The whole of October has been a consolidation. So if you have been trying to trade this, I'm sure you really got a fair share of your losses. Now, after the market is consolidated like this, what do you expect? You expect the market to come down, all right? You expect the market to come down. So because we are most probably resetting D1, we might come down to the 200 EMA, all right, before we go up. Remember, when the market consolidates, that's more like a what? An Asian session. So you want to see a stop hand low, and then we push up. This whole move here, you had a consolidation, stop hand high, and then we went all the way down. Same applies, consolidation, stop hand low, and a move up. So you want to expect the same thing again, stop hand low and a move up. So that means there is a high possibility we might come to the 200 EMA. Now, what is of interest here in the 200 EMA? If you go to the 4-hour time frame, there's really nothing of interest other than the fact that you've got these lows sitting right there. So there's a high chance the market might want to come to these lows before it can go up. All right, that's it for AJPY. I'm pretty sure now you understand what we are talking about. So let's move on to the next pair. Who wants to oh, I've already explained what you needed. All right, no worries. Who wants to do the next pair?
Coach, good
Yes.
evening.
How are you?
Yeah, can I be coach? Good evening, coach. Boss of all bosses.
Talk to me.
I celebrate you.
Which one do you want to do
Honestly, I
today?
thought that we are going to be starting 9:30. That was my this thing. I'm busy watching my Barcelona. So
You.
until somebody just called.
No,
So
it's
can
all
we go
right.
for good? Can we go for good? Because I'm in a good mood. My team
Okay.
is leading. El Papa.
That's good. That's good. Well, you're playing against my team, so
Yes,
I
definitely,
might end
definitely.
the Zoom. I might
That's
end
why
the
I had
Zoom.
to pull your leg.
All
You people
right.
just scored now. You people just scored now. Is a offside. Okay, now thank you so much, coach. Thank you.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody on the call. Good evening. I celebrate every one of you once again. Don't mind me. I believe that everybody should have been acquainted with me. So can we go to D1, coach? Okay. Looking from the information we are having presently right now, we can see that this market has been moving for a very long time. And if I permitted to use my this thing, from this region, we can see that the market has been trying to create, but this is where we can see clearly that it gave us the first clear push. This thing is it network? Okay, okay, okay. So from please, coach, can you just draw to the other side so that I can see the previous before this low on 800, sir? Before the low on the 800. Can you help me to draw? Okay. Thank you so much, Coach. We can see clearly that the market, because the last time I look at it, I can see that they came back to reset on this 800 right now, where they gave us a very nice peak formation, which could be reset for weekly, and the market push clearly, which they destroyed this neck. We can see clearly to see level 1 there, and I can see that they push clearly to give us level 2 at this region, and which you can help me to scroll to the front, sir. You can go to the front later, sir.
Before you go any further, I wanted to point out something. So do you realize that the market formed a peak here, and then after that they went one, and
I'm
then
not
they
seeing your
went.
marking, Coach.
You can't see my marking?
Yes.
Can you
I
see
can
it?
see now. I can see now.
Okay.
I agree.
So
Yes,
they
clearly,
moved two,
clearly.
and then they
Yes.
pulled back and they moved three, right? So now this becomes your peak formation high.
Yes.
So
Which you release it down.
yeah. So the point that I wanted to stress is that, do you guys realize how they reset here? So they literally formed a D1 level to the downside, right? So they must have fooled us into believing that we might buy here at the 200 with a very nice W there. And then they actually reset the lower time frames here and pulled all the way down up to there. And we bought again, they reset again, and they pulled all the way down to there until they were here at the peak formation low.
Yes.
All right. So those are the things that you're looking at when you're counting. And as soon as the market does something that they are not supposed to do, what do they do next? They quickly come back into the range. They do that all the time. As soon as they see that, okay, this is our low and we've broken it, they come back to the range quickly. It's either the next day, the next month, or the next whatever, but they come back quickly into the range. So you've got a cycle whereby the market forms level 3, goes level 1, level 2, and then goes level 3, and
Coach,
then
okay, yeah.
it stop hands high.
I can see it now.
Stop hands high and comes back into the range, then it can continue going down. So that's what I wanted to show you, that sometimes this can also happen on peak formations. It does not matter what time frame you are dealing with. It can happen. All right. So that's what I wanted to share. Anyways, you can continue.
Okay. So thank you, Coach. That's the boss of all bosses itself. Thank you, sir. Can you help me shift to the other side fully now?
Okay, fully.
Yes, sir.
All right, there you go.
So now I've seen clearly which the market has given me this, and the pullback, they gave me this, which I am not comfortable with right now, which they go back into ranging and they push one, they push the second one, they push the third one, which I can see this right now as they come back as a ranging. If we go to lower time frame, we will see that the market comes to clearly to 200 and some 50 in a particular region. So from here, I started looking at my what they call it, my counting, which I can see clearly that this is a reset, and the market started pushing up. So can we go to 4 hours right now? Can we go to 4 hours? Four hours. So, okay. Can I get to the end? Thank you, coach. Thank you, coach. So from that region, they came here to reset. Coach, please, with all due respect, I would like you to help me to mark that loop of that D1 with a distance so that I can easily spot it here on 4 hours. Thank you, sir.
That one?
Of D1, so that it has not shown here, it has not reflected here, please. So the D1 reset on D1, the one I mark as a reset, sir. Let me to mark it. Okay. I think, coach, this thing is coming late. I've not seen it here.
You have to fix your network, buddy.
Because I
They are
don't know what I'm
finishing all
seeing.
the network
So,
on football.
no. Everybody has their own destiny. So it's not. So my network is in 30 here. So let me just see the network is on. So maybe you should help me to reduce it and mark the reset.
I think even if I put a line here, if I move to the H4 as you want, you might not see that line still, unless, yeah, even if I zoom, you're still not
Okay,
going to
coach,
see
this
it.
is what I'm saying. Coach, this is where I'm talking. This is here. This is where I'm talking about. That's where I'm talking about. The upper
Where?
part of it, please. The upper part of D1. Take it to D1. Let me mark it for you. Let me mark it for you on
Is it
D1.
this one?
Let me mark it myself for you on D1. Yes, D1, coach.
I'm on D1
Yeah,
now.
that upper part of it. Yeah, this upper part here. That upper part here.
Right there.
Yes, that's where I wanted to help me to put line, horizontal
Okay.
line to.
All right. So,
Yes, thank
okay.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Can we go to 4 hours if you have put the line there? So we should go to
Yeah,
4
I'm
hours
on
to.
4 hours now.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. So so now from here, I can see the reset because I can remember clearly you teach us about something on reset that there are some times that the reset might not come to 200 EMA, and which we should always be cognizant of. The market, if it comes from the other side, the market got to a level whereby it came back to reset here. And at the level of resetting here, I can see clearly that the market gave us a push to the top and also give us a second push, the top, which now on this particular one, I am expecting another push to the top, which I mark this to be a level 1 on each one, and I mark this to be a level 2. But what happened? He came back to into the this place, which I can this one and nullify this as nothing, and this is our another W to reset to begin to go to give us a good movement on H1. So that is, so now on Monday, what I'm expecting on gold is I'm expecting another 4 hour because this is just the first, this is the second, and I'm expecting the third. And immediately this third, which is going to be 3 days of rising. So it will be level 1, level 2, level 3 on 1 hour. If we can go to 1 hour, I would really appreciate so that I can show it for every one of us to have a clear picture of what I'm trying to say. One hour. Okay. Thank you so much, coach. So now, looking at it, this is where I expect level, the first push, and I'm expecting the second push here. But what happened? They came back to give us this, which is a what they call it, they call it multi
Yeah,
day,
multi-day
and also
W,
higher
yes.
time frame. Yeah, multi-day W, which is also 4 hours W, which is what I see as is going to move perfectly well tomorrow. It's going to move perfectly well next week, because I'm not thinking that they will pull back. They will just continue. They will give us a rising of 1 day to, if they break this one, that will not be level 1, and also level 2, level 3. So I'm expecting a buy on gold to give us 3 push to the top before they will not drop. So that's my submission, coach.
All right. That's good. Yes, definitely gold is a buy. It's only that it's so tiring trying to count levels on gold because you're gonna be there for forever, to be honest. But your point of reference, if you are really keen to count these levels, will probably be where my red line is right there, or you want to start from the second leg, whichever you prefer. And
Second leg.
yes, from the weekly, most probably that's your first level into a consolidation, and you are on your second weekly level. All right. So that means this becomes your weekly one, and you are on your weekly 2 right there. So we are still yet to know how far this is gonna go. So because this is your weekly 2, then it means your point of reference is now that low there, which I believe it is the same peak formation that we saw on D1. Exactly, that's the same. And
D1.
then when we were counting, we actually said this was a complete D1 level, and the market came for reset. Someone asked that, can I please elaborate here? All right. So what I was saying was, if you count your levels from here, right? From here, going to the downside, you will find that you have D1 level all the way up to there, or you will find that you have 9 H1 levels. That's what I wanted to say. You have 9 H1 levels. Now, you look at this and then you say, this is 1 into a consolidation. This is 2, and then 2 gets reversed, and then this becomes your 2, and into a consolidation, and lastly your 3. All right? No, so you don't have 9. You have 27. Yes. If my maths is right. All right, so we're not gonna be able to count this, unfortunately, because it will take us a long time. Plus, I'm not really sure we might see this from the 1 hour. Let's just give it a try and see what happens.
I think they will only give few. They will not give complete.
Yeah. So, all right, let's go to the 4 hour first and see if we can find that place. Right. So this is the place. As you can see how big it is. Going to the 1 hour. Let me switch this off. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. Right. So you can see this is the whole thing that I was talking about. You've got your first drop up to there, and then you've got your second drop and your third drop. So all this is 4 hour level. All right. Because you've got your first drop into consolidation, your second drop into consolidation, and your third drop. All right. This is just a consolidation. This right here. It's just a consolidation. So your H1 levels will be 1, okay, 2, and 3 to the W. All right. That's how your levels are going to be. Coming here, all this is a reset because we're still hitting the same point. So all this is a reset until we come to this point right here. All right. And look what happened here. We had 1, we had 2, we had 3. So that means this is what we had all down up to here. And then from there, we pulled back up. Remember what I said? We pulled back up and we came back down here. Now, we're going to have to start counting from right there. So I'll just put my line here, but this point and that point are all the same because your market pulled down, pulled back up, pulled down, pulled back up until they pulled level 1 here. All right. So this being your level 1, so that means this and that is still your level 1 for H1. Imagine. So the market went down, went back up, went down, went back up, and then it pulled a clear level here and it marked a low. So that means all of this is your H1. And then after that, that means for you to see your your level 2, then this whole thing will become your level 2. So that means from here to there becomes a level 2 because these are more or less equal lows. Then lastly, this becomes a level 3. So we're going to mark until there, right? Remember what I said? I said this one is canceling that one that we've just marked. Now then coming back here, we could mark this as a level if we want, but it's higher than the previous level. So it won't help us. And then coming back here, we've got a bigger peak formation. And then we've got level 1, we've got level 2, and then we've got level 3, right? We might have even level 4 here, I think. Let's find out. So all this is your peak formation on the 800 EMA, all right? So that means this becomes your level 1, this becomes your level 2 into a consolidation, and then lastly, this becomes your level 3, and then see how they gave you level 4, okay? And then this becomes your 4-hour. Now, I move back to the 4-hour after marking. Remember what I said? I said this is a D1 cycle, right? Now from the 4-hour, this is 1, this is 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. Do you see why I said this is a D1 reset, but they gave you a full cycle? By counting your levels, you can tell that this is what? A reset, but they are pushing further to the downside. So they came to this point and they said, we have done 1 and we have done 2, right? And then they bought. They came back down for another 2, respected the low, and then they went back up. They printed 2 again, and they started to print 3, which is all these are resets here. They are all resets on lower time frames. All right. And then after that, they pushed for the third time all through to the peak formation low. And what did they do? They made sure that on the following month, they quickly go back within the range. Which range? That range there. So that it may look like we only have this. If you go to the higher time frame, you realize that you might find this as just a week. You might find it as a week. When you go to the higher time frames, like the monthly time frame, this will be just a week. All right. Let's see. Can be a week or a railroad track, either of the two. So, right. So there you go. instead of being a wick, it's actually a railroad track. So immediately after selling, they went up. So after you have seen that kind of a railroad track, you just take a buy from here and you go up with the market, because this is the monthly time frame. All right. Now, that's what I wanted to explain. Oh, that's what I was explaining when someone asked, what exactly do I mean by that? So after having counted, so can you see that within a weekly level, you've got several resets happening within a weekly level? You've got all those resets happening there. And remember, on D1, we said this on the left-hand side is actually a cycling. Now, this is a reset move to the reset point, right? So that means this will be your level 1, level 2. No. Hold on a second. Level, I would prefer to say level 1, level 2, and then into a consolidation, and this being my level 3. And I would love to say this is my peak and this is my reset point right here. Right, because I remember when we traded this earlier this year, this whole W right here. But all in all I'm saying is you've got a cycle and another cycle. So from here, you want to see that whether you have a D1 cycle, right? That's the only thing that will tell you whether gold is buying or not. So after having seen your M formation, then you saw your W formation. So my best guess will be this is probably my level 1, all right? Oh, sorry. This is probably my level 1 into a consolidation. This is probably my level 2 into a consolidation. And we are now on level 3 of D1.
Sorry.
All right. So I'll just bangle this like that with its pullback. So we are now on level 3 D1. Now, if I shift to H4, sorry guys, if you want to sleep, please go ahead and sleep. This video will be there on YouTube. All right. So if you look at this from this angle, you can see that the first box that I marked is 1. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, that's all right. 1. Come on. Here's 1. Here's 2. And then lastly 3. So that means this D1 cycle has 3 4-hour levels. All right. The next one.
Yes.
The next one has 1 into a consolidation, 2 into a consolidation, and 3. I know my eyes are not going to be exactly the same as yours, but the more you stay on the charts, the more you're going to see these things, guys. I promise you, the more you're going to see these things. So look at how the market consolidated here. And you know about this because we traded this year. We did trade this whole thing this year. You know about it. Right. I'm going to remove those boxes. So now coming to the current box, right? So the current box, for me, all this is a reset. Now, let me show you the same thing that I explained about previously, right? So we have formed 2 D1 levels. And then all of a sudden, we want to reset because we said today we are all about resets, right? See how when we were resetting the first box, we had a mighty W, okay?
Wow.
We had a mighty W form on the 200 EMA. If you count levels here, I can guarantee you you will find probably 2 H4 levels or 1.5. Do you want us to do that? I don't mind, because today we're talking about resets, right? Now let's move to H1. I put that yellow box there so that at least it will guide me with the point that we're dealing with. Because I remember we did this. So as you can see, this one is actually 1 consolidation, 2 consolidation, and 3. So you have 1 H4 level resetting the first box, right? Which actually makes sense because you only moved 1 D1, so you only have 1 H4 level. And then after that, they give you another H4 level. I remember during news when we were talking about this one, I remember it very well. So we then pushed another level up, but notice how
He removed me and B from the market.
yes, I know that one. Look how when we were coming down, instead of having a whole level, we only had 1 and we had 2. And I remember saying it that the market is now gonna buy because they are going to respect this law. Look at that. 1, 2, and then they took off. So you are asking yourself, why are we not having a third level? What's going on? What happened? You are on a reset. All right. You are simply creating a reset. And even your moving averages, they might look crisscrossing, like it's not making sense. That's level 3 behavior. But because you have an 800 EMA sitting there, that should tell you something. That 4-hour time frame is actually doing something. All right. So that's what I wanted to show you, how resets actually reset. All right. So you can see here, this was a whole 4-hour level. But then, uh-oh. But then this was just 2 levels right here. It was just 2 levels. All right. But then after forming that W, the market then decided to go up. Okay. Now, back to our last box. So that's the box of interest. Now we have seen that this previous box does have 3 levels. So now we want to see if the current one also has 3 levels. Now, if we come on this one, number 1, I will put my box. Oh. I will put my box here and say this is my 1. All right. So in here, I need to find a cycle. Someone might ask and say, why didn't you mark this as your 1 and this as your 2? Well, I've got 2 answers. Answer number 1, these are the same highs. So to me, it's as good as we are still in the same area. I want to see them break those highs and close above them. Number 2, the reason why I didn't mark this one, it's because I took it, this was my neckline, and this was my low for the reset, right? Now, remember what I said to you. Look at what the dealer does. He forms a low, respects the low, comes back here, breaks the low, comes back within the range. He does that all the time. When he breaks the low or stop hands low or high, then quickly comes back into the range as if he didn't do anything. But he has already caused damage by this move. If you count your levels from H1, you'll find these are 3 levels going to the downside. So sometimes the dealer might decide, you know what, I'm not going to reset on the 200 EMA here. Let me just go down a full cycle. A dealer can do that. You can actually do that. And if it does that, you will punish a lot of people. All right. Now, that move on its own, for me, it's only one level. We'll see on H1 and then we fix our box. So that means from here going forward, I want to see my second box. Now, for some reason, you guys would have seen how gold was buying, yet other USD pairs were actually selling. I know that didn't make sense for some of you, but here it is. Gold is actually on level 2 buy, so it doesn't matter what gold was doing. Gold is still within the program. Okay, going to H1, and from the peak formation, now this is where you then start to mark your levels because you are closer to the price of reference. Okay, because if I don't mark it here, you people are gonna be like, no, he's lying to us. So that's my level 1, from what I can see, into a consolidation. Okay, I can't mark this as my level 1 because that's more or less the same point. We're in the same point. We did not really move. It's equal to the neckline of that. So I will mark this as my 1. So that means anything that follows is a consolidation. So my level 2 will start from here. Someone will say, no, but we can't see this in real time. You will definitely see it in real time. It's all written there, right? That will become my second leg right there. So, not second leg, but second level, okay? But notice the next day, what the dealer does. He does not really move. So his high is just as equal as the previous day. So what do? I bundle everything because it's as good as the dealer didn't do anything. All right. So that becomes my second. This is the reason why sometimes you end up having something like this. Okay. Someone might say, why didn't you mark this as a left? This and that are more or less equal. They are in the same point. So I can't mark it as my level, right? Number 2, this is my actual level, okay? Because I can see a significant break and distance away from the previous level. So I'm looking for aggressive moves, and that becomes my second level. But remember, I said the next day and this are equal, all right? So that means I will bundle everything as 1 and gain my few pips right there. So that means I am now left with what? My last level, which is this one. Okay, my last level, which is equal. And again, this is my official third level. All right, that's my official third level. And I would have expected the market to sell from here. But instead, they went further up a little bit. So I'll bundle all this as my third. Now, after expecting the market to sell here, they quickly stop hand. Remember what I said? Market will stop hand and quickly correct. They will stop hand and correct on the next session. They do that all the time. So that if you go to the next or the next of the next time frame, you will not see this part. So that then confirms that this is my level 3. Okay, now this being my level 3, then I will move this whole thing up to there or there. I don't know. I'll just put it here for now. And then I'll move this one up to there. So because the USD pairs are going to be buying to this week, I've been marking these levels for you since last week on USD pairs, right? That means gold is also supposed to be bullish. So from here on, we expect gold to be bullish. We have just reset the 4-hour time frame. So all we want to see is a bullish market within this 4-hour level. Any questions, please, before we move on to one last pair? Someone says, I beg to differ, coach, on those levels. All right. Please tell me, what do you think?
Hello, Coach. How are you
Let's
doing?
talk. Yes, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Let's go on H1. I think there is something that I noticed when you were marking levels early on. Let's get back a bit. I'll show you when you get there. Can you come back a bit?
Which part? Where do I go?
All right.
Because I'm in the
Can
part
you zoom out? Can you zoom out? Can you zoom out first?
like this. Oh, sorry,
No,
sorry.
no, no. You just zoom in.
Yes, like that.
Another, a little bit more. Okay. You remember when the other guy was actually trying to point out the reset, first reset was pointing out. Yeah, can you go there?
All right, here it is. Let's talk.
All right. So now wait, let's go on H4 then. I want to see. Yeah, there's something that I'm not seeing clearly.
All right.
What's going on? Yeah, that's it. That right there. You remember when you mentioned just after the box that you can't call it dolphin with a pen. Let me just try something.
Yeah, show
here.
me the part. Is it the one with the line?
You see this part here. You see this part here.
Ah, yes.
That's the part when I was actually saying I beg to differ. Because to me, I thought it was going to be like this, my first level, because the dealer went up here and come back to the same zone. I would take all of this as the consolidation from level 1, and this will be my level 2 and 3.
Okay.
That's my thought.
All right. Hold on a second. What have I done? Okay. Right, I get what you mean. Let's go back to D1. Right. So the point we are talking about, right?
Yeah.
We were referring to rather D1. All right. And I said to you, at the back here, all right, let me mark it. At the back here, you've got 3 D1 levels. All right.
Yeah.
And then you've got a reset. Okay.
Yeah.
And I said, if I am going to mark my levels on this part right here, right?
Yeah.
This is how I am going to put it. Okay. I said, this is going to be my 1. Okay.
Yeah.
And I said, this is going to, sorry. Right. And I said, this is going to be my 2. All right. And then I said, the market came down here. And I am marking, all right, hold on. I'm marking this up to there.
Yeah.
Right? And I, in fact, actually bundled everything up to there, right?
Yeah.
That's what I did, right?
Yeah.
And I said, this is my peak formation. Now, I was marking this on the D1. So I was only looking for pushes to the upside. So meaning in this case, all I was looking for was highs. That's all I was after, highs. That's why I was marking on D1. But from what you were saying, you are actually not wrong as well, because you actually marked from H4, not D1. So if you notice on that area, I only marked from D1 and not H4. All right?
Yeah.
But if we then come to H4 and say, okay, now we are marking from H4, you will realize that here you have only 1, 2, 3. So that means this is an H4 level, right? You also have another 1, 2, 3. This is another H4 level.
Yeah.
And you also probably have another 1, 2, 3. That's another H4 level. Because we are marking from different time frames. This is why it's definitely going to be different. All I was supposed to do was to come to the H4 and then start to mark from H4 and correct. But I wasn't worried about this. That's why I skipped it and went to after the reset and start counting from there because I wanted what's closer to the current price, right?
Yeah.
Now, coming here again, I'll have 1, 2, and probably another 3 as well right here. And then lastly, I'll have a 1, 2, and a 3 right there. Right? Now, notice how now, because we are on H4, this becomes 1. This becomes 1. This becomes 2. That still remains 2. That remains 2. And then that becomes 3. You get the point?
Yeah.
Because
Yes,
you are now on H4. But when you were on D1, it was a totally different case. That is why I say when you mark your levels on a certain higher time frame, you then shift to a lower one and count whether you've got 3 levels in there. If not, then you need to adjust your boxes. You get the point?
Oh, that's the reason why you told me to adjust my boxes earlier on
Yes,
today.
that's why I said adjust your boxes because on D1, I would have put my I would have probably said these are 2 levels on D1, right? And then said, everything is even this one right here. Okay, let me go to D1 and show you. Even this part that we are referring to as 3 daily levels. Where is that part? Oh yeah, this part right here that we are referring as 3 daily levels. Let me show you. Yeah, it's this one right here. Try and zoom further again. This part that we are referring as 3 daily levels, right? If you go to the 4-hour time frame, you might find these are only 2 daily levels. But you need to count. So which is why I was saying I will only come here and put a box and say, okay, maybe that's D1, maybe that's D2, and maybe this is D3. All right. So there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But for you to confirm, you then switch to the 4-hour time frame. You will find on the 4-hour time frame, there is only 2 D1 levels here. You find there's only 2 D1 levels. The other one doesn't even exist. Or you will find the other one is actually this one. You get it?
Yeah.
You find the other one is actually this one. This was just a consolidation, even though it was a D1 push to the 800, but it was just a consolidation. But you need to mark for you to see what you're talking about. But like I said, I'm not worried too much about what's going on here because we're going to take forever for us to mark all these levels. I want to come and start closer to where price is. So the reason why I marked at the back, I was looking for this reset. I wanted to validate whether this is a valid reset. The moment I can pick up that this is a valid reset, then everything else at the back doesn't matter. I start from here. That is why I had this horizontal line that I was moving with. If you had seen, I moved with this horizontal line all the way through, making sure that I get to where I say, okay, this is my reset point. So I'm starting to count from there. All right. So you are definitely right. This is 1 D1 level because it's only 3 H4 levels. These other 2 levels were cancelled. So that means this is only 1 D1 level. All right. Any other pair? Anyone who wants to share a pair? Maybe one last pair?
Hello, coach. Good evening.
How are you?
I'm fine. It's AUD chef.
Hey, you did,
And
Chef.
something I want to show you on W1 and D1.
Now you're not saying AUD. But anyways, with OD pairs, with USD pairs, we have done them a lot this week, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows where they are going. If not, I'm gonna send the charts, but it's the same thing as of last week. We have come
Please do
to
send the chat call.
sorry.
Please do send the chat.
Yeah,
I've been
yes.
around that much. Please send the chats. Please.
No worries. I will send them for you. Sometimes I want to
Yes, sir.
try and send marking from D1, but then I feel like it becomes too difficult for me to actually screenshot the whole part because it would be too big for the screen.
It will be too big. I think
Yeah.
what I would advise to do for us is when you do that D1, you can go to 4 hours and scale it down little till you get to 1 hour. We can get it like that. I think
Okay.
that's what
Just
I
mark
resorted.
D1, mark H4, mark H1, like that.
Yes.
All
So
right.
that I think I have done something like that. You can
Or
check the groups out so
or
that you can help
I'll
us with
try
that.
and use Trading View. I know Trading View should be able to squeeze everything in one in the screen. So I'll try Trading View as well. And probably on Trading View, I'll just mark HD1 and H4 in the same picture, and then H4 and H1 on the same picture. All right.
I
So
must confess, Coach, this particular thing, it's really helped to know a long time trade. And one thing I want to say to most of us is that don't expect your marking to be always right. It's better you just do it and you see the outcome, that you will be able to know how to correct yourself. The best way you can correct yourself is you doing it. And after doing it, even though it go wrong, you will know that, oh, this is what you did wrong, rather than coach is just been bringing it to us all the time. So that is just my advice. Don't let us be afraid of failing when we mark something. No, it's normal. And that is how I build myself in this street till I get to
that
this
is
level.
exactly
So
how
that
I learned. That is exactly how I learned. I used to mark and then just wait and see if the pair goes the way I want. If it doesn't, then I check where I went wrong and I correct. That's exactly how I used to mark, and that's what I expect you guys to actually do. All right. Anyways, let's not waste our time. Let's do this last one, and then I'll release you guys to go and sleep. Joke.
Okay, sir. W1,
Which
sir.
W1? Woof, you wanna start from the highest. Okay, that's nice.
Can we go to the current price? That is here.
Okay. Does that look better?
A little bit more.
A little bit more. All right.
So when I was checking this pair, sir, I discovered the pair has come to the neckline here. It dropped and went back to the neckline. That is my first observation. Then D1, sir,
D1.
the same thing happened. This is a bigger picture. So when I now went down to H1 and H4, I was a little bit confused. But looking at the bigger time frame, I know that this is a peak formation on a bigger time frame. Despite the fact that the pair has touched the neckline of W1 and D1. So my expectation for this pair is a long time set. Am I right, sir?
All right, let's see. Okay, so again, which template did I put now? I put the wrong template. I need this one. Yeah. All right. So let me try and erase this. Again, story is the same, guys. You want to count levels. As you can see, like these pairs are so tiring because you can see it's been selling. That's the only information mostly available to us at this point. The pair has been selling. So if you are keen to count levels from the top part here, I would advise you to actually do it and count to see where exactly the pair is, if it is your pair. All right. Because it is not my pair, it's so hard for me to spend all day trying to mark levels all the way from there. But all I can do is I can find areas that I suspect are reset points. So from the weekly time frame, probably my reset point is this one, all right? My assumption, okay? But I do not know. So for me to then have a clear view, I'll probably go to the daily time frame. Or let's see the monthly. What is the monthly is? So the monthly is also coming from a reset and is pushed 1, 2, and probably might push 3. See that? Monthly time frame pushed 1, pushed 2. Is it? Yeah, 1 and then 2. So my 2 should be this one because that's just one candle. So my 2 should be this one. And then I'm expecting them to push further down to a 3. Ideally. All right. But now I know it's a sell, long-term sell. So if I'm going to count my levels, then I'll have to start from here. So that's the point where that's my reference point. But already I know or I suspect that this whole move is actually a D1 level. Okay? This is actually a D1 level. So the whole move towards the 200 EMA was a way of resetting the previous cycle. So which I would expect some more cells to the bottom. Now let's go to H4 and find out what's happening. This one is going to be very easy because we do not really need to be worried about this move towards the 800 EMA. Yes, we need to be worried about it if we're going to trade it. But if we're not going to trade it, then we're not worried. All we're worried about is the move to the downside, all right? So meaning in this case, looking at it as is, I can bundle this up as my level 1 and then expect, this to be my level 2. All right? Wherever it's going to come, or it's going to come all the way to the bottom there. Now, remember I said I'm not worried about that, but I'm worried about the reset point coming down. Another thing that you can take note of is, in as much as you say this is your level 2, right, from the 4-hour, in as much as I say this is my level 2, I need to also consider that there's a probability this is an all-time M. And so that means I have to start counting levels from there. But because I'm working real time, I'll just leave it as is until I am sure or I have seen what H1 is saying or what I suspect could be happening. All right. So these are my levels at the moment, but we're yet to see if ever H1 supports that or not. So now coming into H1, we can clearly see that this is not an H4 level. We can clearly see this is not an H4 level because there is only one drop to the downside. There is only one drop to the downside. This one right here. And then after that, the market continued with its consolidation. All right. So that is why I say When you then move to a smaller time frame, you then correct. Okay? So that means this is gonna be probably my second drop. All right, I want to show you something here. This might be my second drop. So that means I'm expecting a third drop and then a reset. But because this is an M on a higher time frame, right? This is an M on a higher time frame, or H4 and D1. That is why I said I would prefer counting my levels starting from here, right? But I want to show you something. Okay. I want to show you something. So this will then become my second level. And then lastly, I'm expecting to see my third level. Notice how I said this is my level 1, this is my level 2, and that is my level 3. And I'm expecting to see a peak and a reset. And I said, now I'm starting to count from here. And still, I arrive at the same point. All right? It doesn't matter whether you are counting from here or you're counting from there. The result should or will remain the same. You want to see a further push to the downside, a peak formation formed, a pullback either to the 50 or to the 200, whichever it is, and then a continuation to the downside. Does it make sense? So the start of this week will probably give you, say, a drop down to the low, and then maybe come to the reset. And then from the high, this one will be the low of the week, this one will be the high of the week, and then break the low of the week, going to the downside. That's exactly what we expect to see. All right? Does it make sense, madam?
Okay, sir. Yes, it is. But in the long run, sir, it's going to be a long stay.
Yes, in the long run, it should be a long sell because that's what we can see from higher time frames. And now remember, all this will be your H4 level 1. All
H4
right?
level. Okay.
Yeah. So that means you want to
So
see
another H4 level.
another H4 level and another H4 level.
Another one.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank
That's
you.
what you want to see. All right. And also take
Thank you,
into
sir.
account there's going to be resets coming up. There's going to be consolidations coming up. All right.
Yeah.
So every single time you stop and you assess.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So that means this is our new focus point where we
Right.
start from. Yeah. Because we already have D1 level. So we would like to have another level here and would like to have this level break that low.
This one.
If it matches that low, we would like to see a reset and a continuation.
Oh,
Then we can call that D2. This remains D1.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. So this will only become D2 if it breaks this low.
This low.
Yeah. If it breaks that law, that's only when it will become D2. All right. I hope you
So, coach,
guys, yeah.
this week we are expecting XXS USD up.
Yes, next week. Let's just pass through them real quick. Because I know USD pairs they move the market. Huh? All right. So I was actually drawing my boxes here, waiting for the last level. All right. So we were waiting to see level 3 on AUD, which we have seen now. Okay. This being, is it this one? Or could be, maybe. All right, if my levels are not correct, that's okay. But this is how it's supposed to be, right? So 1, 2, 3. So you've got a whole D1 move. So now our expectation is that US XXX USD pairs are supposed to be buying, and probably they'll buy to the 800 EMA. So that's a full H1 cycle or 4-hour level. So we want to see the market give us that second leg. But now, because they close the market here, there's a probability the second leg might start from there, or they might stop hand to the low. If they stop hand to the low, I'm taking a buy and hold. If they start from here and start to rise, or I might put a small lot size when the market opens, just a very small lot size, and just leave it there as is, because I know they will continue going up, or they might go up and come back down. All right, that means this will take up to maybe Tuesday. They might go up, come back down, and then go up to the 800 like that, which I believe this is the most realistic option and the cleanest option we would want to trade. So that's what we expect on AUD USD. The same thing with this one as well. That's what we expect to see, because we have just received our level 3 from here. And this being our level 1, up to there. And probably this being our push up to there. All right, I suspect this is how it's like. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, no, up to there. Yeah, something like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right. So again, same thing. Either it's a buy straight away, but we would love to see quick formations. And like I said, they are allowed to continue selling here when they start. They are allowed to continue going down as a sell and stop hunting to the low. For those who trade other time frames, you might find maybe, for instance, you've got an order block here. They might say, oh yeah, let's visit that area before we go down, and then you just come and test this area before they go up. So they can do that, but still we want to see them buy, which is why I say let's wait for those cycles to come. If you look at Euro USD, it's a totally different story. The reason being it's a different story, it's because you already have your level 3 there, and Euro USD actually did throw in some good levels, something that I really loved. All right, they really did give good levels, which we now expect them to come back down as a sell. So now that explains why AUD USD and NZUSD might sell a little bit, but it's not always a guarantee, all right, that they will sell. They might start buying whilst EU is selling. That can happen. And then expect this before we can have a push to the downside. So again, we want to see the market go up. Let's see USD card. USD card, I love the fact that they actually pushed up as well, because I was missing a level when I counted it. I was actually counting it and I said, this is my 3. Oh, sorry. I said, this is my 3. This is my 1. This is my 2. And all this is still my 2. And then I wanted to see that move. I really wanted to see that move. And the good thing is they showed it on Friday. And they pushed up on Friday. Now, after having pushed up, we expect the opposite of what we saw from the other pairs. All right. Like this. USD CHF. All right. USD CHF. After counting this one, I still feel like this pair is somewhat hiding something, because even if I count my levels, I'm still bumping into this reset point here, and it's giving me say maybe 1 and then say 2, and I'm not seeing a third level, which is why I think this might buy very hard. I don't know if there's chef news on Monday, but I still want to see them go all the way up to the third level before we can start to talk of sales. I've been marking its levels. I think I've marked for 3 times and I still can't see. There's a missing cycle here, which I want to see to the upside. Whether this becomes a whole consolidation and we have 1 and 2 and 3, or this becomes 1 and 2 and 3, I don't care, but I want to see a push to the upside. So I don't know if that is going to happen, but yeah, that is a missing piece. All right, so that's it in terms of USD pairs. And so now, because you'll be trading odd USD, you know the Euro odd is going to be an opposite of what odd USD is doing. You know, NZD, Euro NZD is going to be opposite of what NZD USD is doing. But still, you want to count levels and be sure of what you are seeing, because in as much as they become negatively correlated, they will still be at different levels. You'll find maybe NZD USD is at level 3, but Euro NZD is actually at level 2 for a buy, something like that, and then it consolidates, you know. Our Euro GBP, a very nice pair. I love it, but what I hate is it consolidates a lot. And here it's been consolidating too much. You can see, like, even from the higher time frames, a lot of consolidations. But I've seen a push for D1 and a push for D2. I want to see a push for D3. So watch out for sales there. And my expectation was that they're going to come to the 200 EMA here. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see them at the 200 EMA. So now I want to look for sell. And because GU is going to be buying, then I would love to see Euro GBP selling very hard this week or the week following. I want to see it selling very, very hard. So that's going to be a very good one for you to take probably for the rest of the week as well, because it's sitting at a reset point. I did count its levels. First time when I counted its levels, I was like, all right, there's a probability this is 1, this is 2, and then this is 3. And then later on, I said, okay, what if this is the neckline? And because of news this day, they spoiled the whole move. So there's a probability this is actually 1, and this is 2, and this is 3. And then I said, all right, So if this is 3, then I want to see the market do that. If this is 3, then I want to see the market go to the 200 EMA. So of which you can have those 2 options. You can have several options. It's allowed. But all you want is to see the market come to your interest area, all right? And they decided to go to the 200 EMA, which is good because I was anticipating a buy on this day. And they did give a buy, though then they sold later on. But I'm seeing now they're sitting at 200 EMA, which is very good. And I would love to see continuous sales on this to fulfill the daily time frame, all right? To fulfill the daily time frame. So I want to see a third push to the downside. Then we can start to talk about buys. So we might see a lot of that in the coming days. Red candles, maybe 5 of them all the way through. And that will be an interesting pair. So do sell this pair when you see it. All right. I think that is it, guys. I have to go
Well,
and
sorry,
yes,
coach.
yes, yes,
Thank
yes,
you,
yes,
coach.
yes.
What type of setups are we expecting on Euro GBP?
All right. So the type of setup you're expecting, because this is your reset, all right?
Yeah.
Ideally, because GU might stop onto the low to go closer to the second leg, then that means this one might stop hand over there. And if it does that, then this is a safety trade because your 1350 have already crossed off. So let's go to the 15 minutes time frame. So that is the kind of trade you are anticipating. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. That is the kind of trade you're anticipating. Now, if GU pushes hard closer to the low or maybe goes beyond the low, then you are expecting your market to come back to these highs. All right.
Okay.
Then it means the setup you are waiting for is a yesterday's high setup where they form an M at yesterday's high. Either way, still the same thing. You're expecting a push to the downside. But I think we might get a safety trade instead. That's what I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, coach. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, guys. And I can see we only have 6 people left. So that's all right,
Coach,
guys.
thank you so much, boss of all bosses. I celebrate you.
So let's go and sleep, guys. And
Extend my greetings to the creative FS king
I will.
and the queen.
I'm pretty sure they are up now and they are like, what is this guy doing? He should be here by now. All right. So I will see you guys later. And I am going to post this.
Apology to them.
No worries. I'll post this on watch it on YouTube and you can repeat it as many times as you want, and it's definitely gonna help you guys. Okay.
Thank you, coach.